What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations. I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. And once a month, I host a live online conversation for fathers and dads that is co-sponsored by Dove Men Care and Dad Central Canada's National Fatherhood Organization. We're broadcasting live November 3rd. It's a big day, not only for Americans, but for many of us all around the world. This is the day of the American election, and nobody better than these two ladies to have on. We've got Aisha K. Staggers and Jill Jones ready to join us. Ladies, how we doing?
Good.
Good.
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there. How before we went live, how has your day been today before we came on live?
I kind of took a day away from like all of the stuff that was going on, and just kind of, I didn't watch any news or anything because I wanted to kind of wait till the returns came in.
Okay.
So,
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Jill?
I was kind of doing some last minute calls and contacting people in my contact list and just seeing if they voted, and if they got other people to vote, and if they had plans for voting today. And that was, pretty much it, considering that the electorate is this old ancient thing that we use, has it where everything kind of closes early. Time was of the essence. But fortunately, so many people in my group, in my circles, were all active voters. They nailed their stuff in early. So that was good.
Good. From what you've looked at so far or heard so far, what are your initial responses or thoughts?
I'm very concerned. I'm very, very worried. I think going forward, I don't think anybody can count on anything the polls say. We knew that, but last night I was doing like a webcast with a bunch of friends, and there was somebody who kind of gave a snarky comment like, oh, we've been telling people in the polls basically that we support Biden. And I do believe that that's how Trump's people think. That's what they've probably done. I think that the polling situation has to become more expanded to be accurate for any of us to worry ourselves. Even in light of 100 million people going and voting, that's tremendous. But what it says, if Trump is winning these counties and I'm seeing things, then we have a more fucked up America than we ever really imagined. We have some really fucked up human beings who live here. And that is something that if you are raising children or trying to grow a family or doing anything of any decency or measure, you really need to rethink why you're here. Because God only knows, it's these people interact with your family members, and you have a responsibility to do the best that you can with your family, and find a place that will embrace decency and decorum and honesty. But this is, if from what I'm seeing, I'm not liking. And, I had a conversation today with a Jehovah's Witness, and I kind of lost it on her. I was just like, how do you know that church you don't follow wasn't created just to keep Black people and minorities down? Because, the witnesses have a really large group of people of color. And then if you look at I mean, like, I'm so suspicious of absolutely everything. I can't see why a God would have a problem with people voting. I don't. You're paying taxes, so what the hell? It's really, talk about being a fucking weasel or a snail or a nothing on this planet. For me, it's like you just get born to sit around and wait to die in an apocalypse. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But that's me tonight.
I had a thought while we were talking before the show started, and I had a thought while we were waiting for the show to start, and you were doing your introduction, and I peeked over at the TV because I had my TV on, and the thought came to me that what if all of those white people who are like Biden Harris, I'm voting Biden Harris, actually voted Trump because they feared the violence that Trump was trying to stir up, and they were more fearful. They didn't vote with the same kind of bravery that maybe other groups of people will vote for.
Right.
Like, for example, African Americans, we c- we come from people who voted um, in the face of fear. We come from the stock of a John Lewis who got his skull fractured in order to march to try and get the right to vote. But you've got, you know, 53% of white women who last time voted for Trump, even though they they knew what kind of man he was, but they feared their husbands more. So what if you have this time the same kind of fear that people have, and it's that kind of unsettling worry. I think that a lot of us are having now because we've already seen that they tried to run Biden Harris bus off the road. We saw what they did Sunday.
Aisha, I need a favor. Can you turn down your TV just a little bit because
My TV's
Oh,
off.
I
oh,
think
so okay,
it might be mine. Hang
okay.
on.
If you can just turn it down, you don't have to turn it off, but
Yeah.
just turn it down. I just want to welcome everyone. There's a number of people watching live. Please feel free to give comments, provide input. This is a conversation tonight. I will say I'm just keeping an eye, and right now I'm looking at one platform. I won't give any platform names. Saying right now the Electoral College is saying 73 to 48 for Biden right now.
Mm. But the other part of it though is I think we've seen, I think people have seen the fear tactics, and that has scared a lot of people. Like, for example, Sunday, Trump people were organizing. They were at our local IKEA, like trying to harass people. They closed down the Garden State Parkway.
Oh my.
They closed down the Mario Cuomo Bridge in New York because they were trying to stop people from voting on the last day to vote in New Jersey, last day to early vote in New Jersey and New York. Meanwhile, ambulances couldn't get to people who had COVID emergencies and things like that, and you had state troopers trying to shut them down. But what was the whole point? And they were closing down places all over. And this was their organization. This is how they organized to interfere with voting and intimidation. You still had those open carry states where people were going to intimidate. So, you wonder if those tactics actually work and what the outcome will be tonight.
Okay, so and Joe, I didn't mean for you to turn your TV right off. So I just wanted to.
No, that was actually, we've been watching the German news.
Okay.
They're doing a whole thing on our election. People are very concerned as well. So
Yes.
it's so interesting seeing the Republican ambassador from Germany talking and all this other crap. But, this really reflects highly on, you should see the people that they're interviewing. The Trump supporters, sadly, it's been Trump supporter after Trump supporter. And we are really depicted as like the most stupid people on the planet. It's like, this could be where everybody decides, yeah, no thanks. Because you're looking for a collective, there's not a collective brain out there that they had a few other people, but for the most part in Florida, it was all raggedy people talking about Trump was a great businessman, and he's not. They I mean, we've laughed too much at Trump stuff. We actually, comedians have made jokes. They've made him, he's actually made people money. And at this point, the capitalism in this country, everybody needs to sit that aside. This is not something to laugh about anymore. He is not anything to laugh about. This is tragic if this happens. What is, there's people who've been standing out there for hours in different places, and it's very, very important. But like I said, we will see who the assholes of America, how many there are. And even from just the numbers of looking at the amount of people that he had, it's quite frightening. It's quite frightening to know that I share land with these people who think this way. For me, they are people who are on the precipice of fascism, and they endorse it and they support it. And for me, I can't stomach anyone like that, nor do I want to give anything. I just can't be here. I can't be here. So I might be taking Justin Trudeau up on leaving the country because, since he's offering 401,000 to leave in January, yeah, why not? It's like, it's at that point. Because I'm shocked that there wasn't even more of a landslide of people like going, yeah, let's just be decent people. But we have such poor education here. That's why many people who are going to want to leave aren't going to be able to, because they're not intelligent enough either. They're not even competitive enough. They won't be able to. And that's really the truth, unless they have a lot of money. Unless they have something to offer to a country.
So
and let me put it to you this way. Florida and the Latinos, Jill Jones will not be donating to any Latino clauses until Latinas and Latinos get their shit together. And maybe the same for Black Lives Matter, because we had a very huge spike in Black men who went and voted for Trump this time. It's pretty disgusting. They actually were out there, looting stores, weren't they? While for George Floyd. So they want to dip in on both angles. Who were these people? And then they go and vote for Trump. Who are you? It's not the Black women. Black women have been carrying Black men forever, for fucking ever in America. And it's time we stop that shit. Stop it. Because look what we get in return. Somebody who wants to house your uterus and control everything else about your life. That's always been going on. Always, since the days of feminism. And I'm sick of it.
Okay. Just to catch up here, we got a number of people who are watching live on various platforms. First of all, thank you for taking the time. I know you could be watching all different platforms, but you're here with us tonight. So we appreciate that. Just want to catch up. Black Booty, I think, agreed with Jill's opening statements. He also said, good point, Aisha. These are the kind of abusive men these women are married to. And then actually, just put it up here. Forgot to. We got that. And then also we have, and this is the problem, if 45 is reelected, our democracy as we know it will be just a memory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, look what he did today. This wall that he put up around the White House. It's not even a like temporary wall. It's cement. It's like from the street view, you can't even see the White House that belongs to the people. He's barricaded himself in, like, even if tonight pans out and Joe Biden does win, it's like he basically has staked his claim on this house and said he's not moving. Like, he's a squatter. He literally is a squatter. It's like, are you homeless? Are you trying to stay there for good?
Right.
He's trying to make that his permanent residence. And you can best believe that one of the first things he's going to try and do if Dems don't keep the House and he keeps the Senate, he's going to try and extend term limits.
Mhm. So just I put it on the screen here, but I'll put back up Jill. They're also not cultivated. They're being the people who voted for 45. This is the message the world gets if 45 wins.
Yeah, they
Well,
do.
so again, ladies, it's still early.
Yeah.
I know I
Mitch McConnell has won his
Mitch
yes,
Senate
McConnell
that
reelection.
one.
won, and
Right.
I can also call it John Cornyn kept his
Right.
seat. His seat
Right.
was considered a fragile one,
Yeah.
but he's still in.
Right. So that's the thing that, it's early. And again, just taking it a recent platform I'm looking at says right now, they're saying 80 to 51 when it comes to electoral college right now.
Yeah. My prediction for tonight was 183 Trump to about at or close to 300 for Joe Biden.
Okay. Okay.
Because even if Donald Trump won Florida, he doesn't really have any other. Donald Trump only has that one route to 270 because, he doesn't have any other. He's in danger in some of these other states like Michigan.
He is, but will he
Will
lose?
will he lose is another question. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm surprised actually that Joe Biden is up in Kansas
Okay.
as it stands right now. That's
True.
surprising to me
Right.
because that is a Republican stronghold.
Interesting. Interesting. Uh, Jill, I have never seen you so sullen.
I just disgusted. I honestly am pretty disgusted with American people.
Joe Biden won Colorado.
Junior, if that's a Junior, I know, long time no chat. It seems though he has an assertive fan base. Okay,
He
so
does.
let's talk about that, especially, and you had spoken about it a few moments ago, Aisha. The whole incident about the bus in Texas. What is with that?
And then for him, but see, here's the thing. His cult members do these things, and then he gives these little subtle invitations for them to continue to do things like that by saying things like "I love Texas" and then posting the video of them doing that. It gives them permission, and it's kind of like an approval, like Daddy approves. You know, it's like, I'm waiting for them to call him something like father or something like that, give him some kind of nickname. They have exceeded the whole Jim Jones thing. You know why? Because there are millions of them and they're alive and they're letting him control government. The one thing that Jim Jones had to do was to lead and form a whole kind of place in another
Compound.
country, a compound in another country. This man took over a country. And think about this. A lot of these people voted for him. They're going to say it's because he was a businessman. No, it's because he was on TV. And then he was on TV. And then he got on TV and he started to talk like them. He started to say the things that they say when they're together, things that are not politically correct.
What does the other party have to do more, Junamji or whatever your name is? I mean, what do
Junior.
they have to do?
Junior.
What do they have to do? I mean, give me a break. People are civil. American people, I'm sorry, but you guys are the least cultured people in the world. You really are, from your black people to your white people to all of you. You have no culture, you have no tradition, and you always want something. And you elect a celebrity scumbag. And we have to do more because normal people, hell, even in normal countries, nobody even knows who Angela Merkel's husband is. But not here. America has to know. Did she do the rose garden? Did she pick her nose today? What's she wearing? It's bullshit. Because you're too entertained. Black men voted for Kanye West. You should be bitch slapped across the fucking continent.
And I mean, and here's the other part of it. Think about it this way.
Nobody takes you seriously because you don't take yourself seriously.
Directly to our north.
Sorry.
That's okay. Directly to our north is a country that their COVID numbers look nothing like ours. Okay? Their government took care of its people. Their economy looks nothing like ours. They want to actually grow their economy. Okay? That's why they're taking.
We have to entertain. He's saying we love the passion. No, you guys are actually hysterical people. And I'm becoming hysterical living here. That's not the real world. Let me tell you something. Most diplomats lately have been saying, goodbye, America. You will not be policing the rest of the world. So get over it. I don't understand how the most disenfranchised group in the whole United States, when Black men are murdered in the streets, why should I give a shit anymore? You don't.
Voting for Donald Trump for Black men was like,
why should I give more money about kids inside, locked up, chained away, probably being fucked every single day? Why should I care? You guys don't. You voted for Donald Trump, who put him there. Why should I give a shit? Why should I give my money, my time? Why should I go stand out in protests? Oh, but you guys went to the protest because you could loot. Great. I hope you like your Louis Vuitton that you resold on Facebook Marketplace. Not fooling anybody. These are not the same men you all are. They're all the same men because you let them speak for you.
Aisha?
Let me tell you something. Yesterday, I was Facebook, and I was so disappointed in my friend that I'd known for years that I hadn't been in communication with, but I still follow on Facebook, David Ruffin Jr. And the amount of Black people following him, first of all, his post was about not voting, okay, for either choice.
David Ruffin, old David Ruffin?
His son. The son.
Oh, wow. Walk Away from Love song.
Right.
All the Black people who were following him agreeing with him about not voting.
Did they agree about his father beating up Tammy Terrell and beating the shit out of her?
Exactly. But the most disappointing part was all the Black people that decided that they weren't going to vote as well. And think about it. The only reason that people are following him is because he's not a celebrity. His father was. Okay? Think about that. Okay? And the concern for me was watching this and watching mostly Black men agree. And the patriarchy was what it was. And here's the thing about the Black men and the Latino men who voted for Trump. The thing is that the thought that they can get, it's not that they want necessarily to do better. They want the same power as white men. They think that they can get it by being close to them and voting like them and acting like them and mimicking them. They choose not to have a voice. They don't choose not to have a voice. The voice they choose to have is the one of white men. They choose to disenfranchise other people
because they had no other role models except Massa.
Right. Like think about it. The same Black men
They're not African men. Let's just put that
No.
together. They're not Caribbean men. They are African American men, which it's a very different thing, honey.
You're around. We're not talking about the black men who do the right thing. We're talking about the 11% of black men that Trump was able to turn over. That 11% is
And they
just
were
enough.
African American men,
Right.
and they go into the worlds of the real, true African men, Afro Caribbean men, and try to front like they're really all that. And they're not.
Right.
They are men without, they are acculturated white men with black skin. Not even acculturated. They are imitations.
Right. And that 11% is enough to sway votes away from what we needed them to do.
Oh yeah, they did. They did. And then a few of them voted for Kanye West, like the assholes they were going to be. Kanye West, who can't even fucking remember who he is from day to day. I mean,
And
really, seriously?
They didn't do that because Kanye had a plan. They did that because they didn't want to vote for Biden. And let me say this, a lot of them were young, and a lot of them did that because of Joe Biden and the 1994 crime bill. And a lot of them weren't even born when
They
the
weren't
crime
even
bill.
educated on the crime bill. They don't
They
even
weren't even
understand the
here.
crime bill. That crime
They
bill
weren't even
included
here.
something that protected, was for domestic violence against women. That back in those days, when I do recall a lot of black men beating up their wives during those days and killing them. I remember that very well. We wanted that crime bill. Fuck yeah. And I'm really sorry that Bloomberg actually got some of these folks out of jail and gave them the right to vote in Florida.
And
They didn't need to vote.
And let's not forget too that the days of crack were very scary. If you weren't here, look, Broadway in New York City was nothing like it is now.
Thank you.
Nothing.
Thank you.
Like it is
Please go on. It was really
it was
dangerous.
very dangerous.
And most of my run-ins were not with white men, funny enough. And I'm a black woman, but my run-ins, let's just be honest, we all try to play nice and keep it really quiet. But the most aggressive men I did meet on subways were black men. Sorry to tell you the truth.
Dr. Tachi's right. And they have a problem with Kamala Harris.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they have a problem with Kamala Harris. I've never seen
because she's smarter than they are.
Yeah, I've never seen more people who look like Kamala Harris, men.
That's why they go and get these little old white trashy girls from down the way, because they know that the intelligence with our black women is up here. Everybody is like, it's pretty revealing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then they were like, oh, well, Kamala's a cop. Kamala was putting black men in jail. Kamala was doing her job.
How about y'all just try to stay out of jail? How about y'all just try that for a fucking change?
And we're not, and let's be clear. We're not going in on black men and blaming this on black men, but it is disappointing to see black men not supporting black women, because black women have
been spearheading this.
We have been,
remember,
we have been turning up and turning
That's
out
what I'm talking
to vote
about.
for all these years.
At least just support us. But no, they have to go over and go to be self-serving. And that's what the Trump thing is. Everybody knows, if you go, like tomorrow, if you and I decided to be big GOP talkers about how amazing, like right now, we could shift this on a dime. And do you know, our audience profile tomorrow from everything that we said tonight would be ridiculous. And we would make a lot of money doing it.
Oh,
and that's why people are doing it. And let me tell you something. If it gets to that point, maybe I will, because there's no real loyalty in our community for each other. Should have been supporting black women. You should have known that Ice Cube's contract with Black America belonged to women who wrote those laws in the first place. And they are bills that have been sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk. And guess what? They're not going to go anywhere because you kept Mitch McConnell in. Kentucky rednecks can't help themselves. They can't even figure it out. We know Amy McGrath wasn't the person. Okay, but come on, you couldn't even maintain your gains. Couldn't even do that.
It's like it's like the taking over of the Black Lives Matter movement, that to the point that people don't even realize it was started by 3 queer Black women.
Oh no,
You
they
know,
don't like the queer
like,
part. That's what
they don't like the
they
queer.
don't like.
They don't like the queer
See,
part.
Black
Exactly.
men have an issue with queer women,
Right. And
but not in a threesome.
these are the things that we have to discuss too, because there's and a lot of Black men have moved over to Donald Trump because Donald Trump talks about homophobia. He talks about transphobia, and these are issues that a lot of Black men still deal with. So he talks about being very macho, and Black men tend to
And
feel
Donald Trump has those parties for
tend to,
people who are on the down low. So
yeah,
that's really good for you guys. And he'll
and
keep your secrets for you as long as you vote for him.
yeah, and
That's what Donald Trump does.
he speaks for men who feel emasculated. That's why those poor white men who are nothing gravitate to him.
So just an update. Looking at some different sources here, they say the electoral count right now is 89 to 54.
89 Biden.
Yes. And they're saying Senate right now is 39 Democrats, 36 Republicans.
Right.
So it's going to be a long night.
It's going to be long, but it's really unfortunate what is happening. It should be more. And it's really shocking because voting.
Jill, I'm not surprised.
But it should be in a utopian world, right? People who are good, who want to see their friends succeed, who want people to have equal and fair. It's like Prince had a quote. Prince had a quote, which was that
South Carolina.
South Carolina?
Yeah.
I knew he'd win South Carolina. You can go to Charleston and that's kind of known. It's as lily white as, my toilet paper. It's just, I think that we want the best for each other. I do. I don't ever look at somebody and think I need to compete against them. Maybe I'm an anomaly. I'm excited for my friends when they do really well. But I've realized that many people aren't like that.
Dr. Tachi, the problem is that she did not know to support Black men at all costs, even if they are wrong. Interesting how the same canceling is not levied at Kanye West, Ice Cube, Lil Wayne, etc., when their actions are counterproductive to African people as a whole.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's the patriarchy, though, and we have to stop getting our daughters to embrace it. Stop being on Instagram pandering to this crap. They basically turned all our kids into whores, for attention. It's ridiculous. I mean, what are they? Listen to the lyrics. I first of all, as a musician, I just can't even get beyond the lyrics, how horrible they are for women. I mean, are we in a time warp? I get it's entertaining, but really? This is how you want people to speak about women and your little girls? To me, it's like, can we just end that era? Can it just go away? Let me see if they can come up with a rap song that is uplifting. Some of those old ones. The old ones need to go. They're part of the problem. They helped contribute to how we got here. The greed, the avarice, all of it.
Yeah. And I mean, the other side of it is that there's a way to be politically active that is useful, and there is a way to be politically active that is self-serving. For example, I watched an interview that Gavin Newsom did last night on Instagram Live with Snoop.
I missed that.
And it was so good. And Snoop was talking about how, he did some activism with youth centers when he was younger as a young rapper, but he didn't realize that was activism. Right. And he said as he got older, he started realizing. He said he didn't know that he could vote because he had been to jail and all that stuff. And he said one of his lawyer friends told him, no, you could vote. and all you have to do is make sure that you did everything that you needed to do. He said, I did it, and this is my first time voting. He said, once I realized that I could vote, I made sure all my nephews, everybody in my family was registered to vote. And he said, and I got everybody in on it, and we went and voted. And he said, I felt, he said, I wasn't just concerned about the presidential. He said, I realized that the local ones, the judges, all these people affected my mother, affected this
They
person,
do.
affected this person. And he said, I got everybody to realize that. I started educating myself about it. I started educating everybody else in my family about it. And he said, and it was just such a learning experience
This
for
was
me.
his first year voting. He's never
Yeah,
voted.
yeah. And
I mean,
he said I had become an activist. He said I realized I became an activist at that point, for people to vote. He said, and I took it serious. He said I took it very seriously because I realized that, your vote could be taken away. And he said
but
I
has he
learned about,
taken it? I mean, he's old now, and that's the whole
yeah,
part of youth. It's like
right,
youth is about capturing everything you can do. You don't want to abide by any rules, and you don't want to feel beholden. But for some reason, our young Black people don't feel a responsibility. They think they have the same luxury as white kids and their white peers. They really do. But we're not raising them properly to understand how you walk, how you do anything. You are carrying a legacy behind you. We are not raising them properly. We're raising them to think, oh, I did this, I graduated from school, and blah, blah, blah. No, Negro, you are not the same. And you never will be. It's
yeah,
like as soon, not here, not in America. And I know it's a burden and I know it's a weight, but we take our kids and we try to move them into the suburbs and they get with their little white accents and the verbal whatever. But the reality is they still have a responsibility and they may not like it. And I mean, if you look in Florida, where's that really horrible area, Imperial County or whatever, that still needs people to go in and renovate and do some amazing
yeah,
things? Snoop could go down there. I mean, those people live in horrible conditions
I
and they're
just want
voting for Trump.
I just
I
want
mean,
to
Susan Collins is leading in Maine. Susan freaking
exactly,
Collins.
exactly.
so let's look at it here, Dr. Bob. I know I shouldn't be surprised, but as an American, I'm just shook and saddened that our nation's so backwards and tired politically. Dr. Tati is saying, then we have to take a stand. The D9 sororities were able to get a show canceled on VH1 that had negative depictions of sorority members by going after the advertisers. We can do the same thing with music.
We can do the same thing with music, but I also really wish that we have this really weird divide also between the sororities and many people who haven't gone to college. I mean, there is a real like, oh, he's just an educated, highfalutin brother or whatever. We
Yeah,
really do have a lot of shame in the areas, not just shame, but also there's shame mixed with like this hubris that they didn't
yeah,
go to college. So it's this convoluted like twist up of how to hide that maybe you're not that educated. So they start to seek education from Q Anonymous, conspiracy theories. They're not well read. I mean, I don't know if the HBCUs can create some kind of really pillars to go out in the communities again and really try to, even if people can't afford it, just give out books or something. I mean, whole classes. This is dire. This is really dire. And they don't really respect people who are in a sorority. They think you guys are not that much further from the white people. It's like boom, boom. So there's no relationship there either. So when you put on a TV show like Blackish or the other ones that they had, there's a lot of Black people who don't understand that.
Okay, so Nicole is saying here, I'm not surprised at the mindset of these rappers. Lil Wayne is the same Black man who sat on television and basically said he was rich and Black lives wasn't his concern. He also has a history of anti-Black women lyrics too. Malcolm X warned folks about
He did.
looking to these celebrities.
yeah.
He called them puppets.
It's more
He
basic
did.
than that with Lil Wayne. He drinks cough syrup.
And he
Okay,
should go on home and
why
drink
would
a
you
whole freaking bottle of it.
look? Why would you take your political advice from someone
Maybe
who
he'll
drinks
make more
cough
sense.
syrup?
Exactly. who had seizures, who became a liability to Black people. Then
Exactly.
you get money and then they're liabilities. It's like
Exactly.
we have this thing where they don't respect people who have achieved success unless they're doing rap. And you're right, we really should
The problem
create
with that,
something to
though,
go after it. But
the problem though with going after the music industry about it is that white kids buy more hip hop now than Black kids do. So
they do.
as long as white kids are buying it, they're not going to stop.
Okay.
It's true. That's very true.
And Dr. Chachi is
Yeah,
saying
I know.
HBCUs are already cash
I
strapped.
thought Donald Trump bailed him out and helped him. Remember, everybody said, oh, he gave so much. Let's let everybody know. I'm tired of Trump giving breadcrumbs and people saying it's a loaf of bread. It's a crumb. Crumbs.
Mm,
They
mm,
don't go
mm.
very far, crumbs in a group.
Okay, so we're here on 2020 election night coverage with Aisha K. Staggers, Jill D. Jones, bringing it
Oh,
up, and the most updated 89 to 54 still for Biden. Susan Collins, if Susan Collins wins, oh my.
Well,
then our country is just, yeah,
What?
tone deaf.
North Carolina has 80% in with Joe Biden leading.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's
But
interesting.
I'm still going to be Chicken Little on this podcast, guys.
If that means be yourself, I'll take it. If not, I'll kick you out.
I'm really happy we're doing this because it really releases a lot of tension and my feelings about what I've seen. And, at one point it was like the only good thing we could make out of it that people were voting for Kanye was that they actually inadvertently they were taking votes away from Trump, which was really strange but still, it was just kind of shocking to hear that in a report with a friend of mine in a volunteer group.
But here's the thing, and I don't know if we talked a lot about it, or either you talked about, there was a large uptake of young people voting.
Yeah, they didn't have the data. We didn't have the data like we knew on the phone banks. I said most of my phone bank people were in their 30s. So young people don't answer their phones. So we didn't know.
So, and just if you don't know, folks, if you're watching this live or on the replay or listening to it live, I think you can guess what party Aisha and Jill support. If you don't, you need to be off this broadcast, sort of speaking. But no, but I think that was one of the factors that need to be taken into account, that a lot of young people voted.
Yeah, and let me just say this. I watched the thing that the program that Jill did last night. I also read a lot of the comments.
Oh yeah, I couldn't read them all. They were going so fast.
The thing that she did was a group of people who worked with Prince.
Yeah.
And they so a lot of people that tuned in were Prince fans. I don't understand how you can be a Prince fan and support Donald Trump. I don't either. I don't.
They only support like Purple Rain.
I don't get it. It's like
that's
putting,
Prince for them.
It's like putting a square peg in a round hole.
It's true.
It doesn't fit for me, and the main reason is because Donald Trump is such a racist, and if people
he's the least racist person in the room now. Come on now.
He is. That's true.
And I think at some point we're going to have that Prince show, because the one thing that bothers me more than anything is that people tend to forget that he was a Black man and tend to do this separation of Prince from his Blackness as if that's a thing that you can actually do to Black people. It's never far.
But they do.
It's never away from us. It's like it doesn't rub off. You grow up in a Black family, that doesn't go away. It's ingrained in you. And so I was they don't, exactly like Nicole's saying, a lot of these Trump supporters who are Prince fans more than likely don't view Prince as Black, and I don't see how you do that.
They don't, but that's what's happening with the celebrities.
why
They
they're
get
supporting
this
people.
pass. They get into this, like the Lil Wayne, crazy as it is. They're not viewed as Black because once you become rich, all anybody sees are green. They don't really care. There's the prettiest girls in the world that all of a sudden would never look twice at Lil Wayne, all of a sudden all up on him. That's something else. And that is some real serious says a lot
Challenges
about
going on there.
capitalism.
That celebrity thing has got to stop.
It's America is a celebrity based country. It's all about it. It's like it's horrendous.
I hope that we are getting past. I hope that in this anti-COVID, past this post-COVID period, we can get to this. You can
Not
become
once did I see Nene Leakes come out and talk about Donald Trump. Not once did I see any of those Real Housewives of Atlanta. Not once.
That were on his people that were on
his show. And so for me, it like what happens is everybody becomes complicit when you've got the tier of the leader of your government who can be compromised by either celebrity, foreign governments because of his loans. So that's the problem. He's not austere enough. He's not powerful enough. He's not removed enough from common people. And I think that celebrities still typically are common people. In my mind, there's nothing special. The only thing that can help them is that they have access to getting to people, but they're common people and they're getting more fucking common every day. There's nothing special about being a celebrity, nothing interesting, nothing, even half of the work most people are putting out right now is of no quality and really of very little value, especially the ones that are getting the press. Because everybody's in the same vacuum and the same silo, including our president. And if you don't think that's a problem, then you're losing your mind because those two worlds should not mix.
Yeah. And
okay, Doctor.
Donald Trump doesn't want this job. He doesn't want the job. He just wants to stay out of prison.
Dr. Chachi here says, here's the thing. In Florida, Cubans are overwhelmingly Republican, and many are Cheeto Satan supporters.
Mm-hmm.
They feel that supporting the Republican Party helps them transcend their Cubanness, similar to what Jill is talking about some Black people.
And I hope they're very happy when you know, it's like, let's say, worst case scenario, he gets put back in and he wants to push through that Stephen Miller bill to take away people's naturalization. I will be right behind it. I will support that with a mug because you know what? I'm not supporting any more of that because the Cubans needed to be on that, taking care of their own people. That's a problem. That's the hierarchy. I had a friend who was a dark Cuban and the light Cubans didn't like him, his family. They had issues. They were blatantly racist to each other. It was like being around colonialism in Miami in like the year 2016. It was the weirdest shit I've ever seen. It was like looking at somebody and saying, oh, they're too dark to hang out with. They still do this stuff. That is something that needs to be addressed. I think that, but like I said, I'm out. Their problems, DACA, all of it, that's their problems now. It ain't mine. I ain't into it because they vote against my interests. So right now, I'm not interested in them.
Mm-hmm. So Junior is saying lack of proper education will have a person select celebrity over common sense.
No, it's not lack of proper education. Here's what it is. It's the desire to want to live that life. And that can be anyone with education or without. We have made celebrity so desirable in this country. Because we don't have royalty in this country, we hold celebrity up like it's royalty. And so that is what people aspire to. People want that. People aspire to that. And so because we don't have that, people look at celebrity as it's flashy. Our celebrities are our royalty. Why do you think we call our celebrities royalty? Like the Jacksons are American royalty, or we call somebody American royalty because we don't have that kind of royalty here. Like you have in England, you go to England, the royal family is the royal family. Their celebrities are not considered royalty. Ours are, and so we treat them. Prince is American royalty. He was a celebrity. We don't have. I get what you're saying, but we don't have royalty. We don't have royalty as in kings, queens, whatever. Um, that's why we have presidents, senators, and all of that. That is, we have a democracy. We don't have a monarchy, is what I mean.
Right.
So,
And even the royals in England are not even that valued anymore
right,
because I think
they have a
when you
democratic
put your,
government.
and also if you put yourself out there too much and you just become common like everybody else. I think that there's no um, there is no respect for authority anymore, or even just class or anything. Yeah, I mean, Prince and American royalty.
I get what you're
It's kind of
saying.
funny. Everybody went crazy with the Jacksons and Michael Jackson and all that,
Mhm.
and they still tore him down.
Yeah.
Hmm, hmm.
And see,
So
that's what we do to our celebrities too. You got to
We
remember,
do.
we build them up. We want to aspire to be them, and then when they get to a height, particularly black celebrities, when they get to a certain height, we decide that no, they don't deserve to be as big as certain celebrities, and we tear them
Absolutely.
down. We
Hmm.
tear them down. Look, as Michael Jackson would never have been torn down had he not had the gall to buy the Beatles
But
catalog, I'm
but
sorry,
here's the
Elvis
difference, because
catalog.
I know a lot of people are going to feel like we're just tearing down Lil Wayne and Ice Cube and all of them and whatever. That's not true. We're talking about, you're looking at an era of different people that came along. So you have an era where there were iconic figures who were incredibly charismatic, who really brought a lot of shift and change musically, like a Michael Jackson, a Prince. There were so many during this period of time, David Bowie, all of those guys, special time. But then you transition into like the 90s and the 2000s, and what that brought, it brought a different energy. And it brought a lot of entitlement. I mean, even though African American young kids, youth, we talk about them being deprived of a lot of things, there's still a lot of entitlement in those things, if that makes any sense at all. Because there is still some kind of entitlement that they feel, whether it be give me this, I'll take it. Those are codas that are transmitted through generations, and unfortunately, there was a big gap from the parents and the people who were in the civil rights in the 60s to my grandparents who owned their own home, had their everything, and then there was a shift. Something happened in the next gen, in my generation. My generation of people changed it. Not a lot of homeowners, not a lot of things to show for their lives, a lot of fun, but we made a lot of steps forward. But even the generation after that came and something changed. And without education, without people going to school, and we're in a lot of trouble. We have people who sit up and vote for Kanye West. They think it's funny. And then want to play victim all the time, because some people do play victim, let's be honest. There's a lot of people who get over with that. I'm not saying everybody, but while we're trying to make our gains here, then we have other people dragging us down. It's like I literally feel tonight after reading that I have like weights on my feet, and I'm really, really angry about the way the black men voted.
So
Sis,
here's an interesting situation. So right now, I'm just looking at one of the what's going on. Biden has 89 electoral votes. Trump has 72. Now the funny thing is, I said 45. Sorry, has more of the popular vote. Now, wouldn't it be funny? And now, I'm not saying. I'm
Right.
just saying we had a reversal of the last presidential election.
A reversal of fortune. What states does he have now?
Well, so 45 has North Dakota, South Dakota, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia.
the Bible Belt.
Whereas Biden has Colorado, New York, Vermont, Connecticut, Maine, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and the DC district.
Okay.
Well, here's the other
Yeah, I
part
mean, those
too.
are like civil people. The other people are crippling themselves with weird, weird, pedophilic, evangelical religion, Christianity that they perverted Christianity. That's not even the Bible Belt anymore. It's called perverted Christianity. They're all perverts, hypocrites.
Trump has the popular vote right now because they're counting the votes from today.
True.
The in-person vote. So they haven't caught up with the
absentee votes
absentee, right, the early votes yet. They haven't caught up yet, but those will catch up later on tonight.
I don't know. I think the next vote should just be online, and I think we should all be registered, and everybody gets to see how everybody voted.
Oh, actually, I missed here's something that Nicole. Sorry, I missed this comment. Colorism and anti-blackness are global. I agree with Jill. Thanks, colonization.
Yeah.
Yep. 93% is in Florida for Trump.
Pardon me?
Yeah.
93% in Florida for Trump.
Yeah.
Well, if that happens.
Yeah, no president has ever, a Republican has never won without, Florida. Since 1924 without.
But he didn't win by a lot. Like he won by quite a decent amount against Hillary before. This is 51% to 47%.
Still, a win is a win.
Yep.
Yeah, but he needed that. But Pennsylvania is looking good for Biden.
Yeah, I did see that Montgomery County, which I worked in for a while, and I'm like, come on, Montgomery County, because they really got it. Funny enough, 74,000 just from the initial onset came out voting for Biden and 8,000 for Trump. So he definitely kind of took that. Ohio, please do not let me down. I will rue the day, regret every single day I was ever born in Ohio.
Right. I forgot you were born in Ohio.
I mean, honestly, please make my life, please bring me some happiness.
Nicole is right. Florida's a mess. I think Florida needs to just go red and just leave it.
And I think Florida also needs to stop immigration, people coming in. Shut it down, Trump. Don't let them back in. Fuck them. Because they fucked us. I mean, honestly, I actually woke up today, and I know this is going to sound petty because I'm not trying to be Petty LaBelle, but I'm a human person. And I'm like sitting here going, all the things I've done, and I don't want to blame a whole group of people because it's not their fault. But I'm sitting here trying to help, and we're trying to figure out how horrible it is for these kids from Mexico. But see, the Cubans think they're so much better. And they want to live in 1955. And I say, go back to fucking Cuba and drive your fucking 1955 Cadillacs, because it's still 1955 there. Why the fuck do you want to bring it here, 1955? I mean, honestly, what's really horrible is that they come here and it's like a slap in the face that you go and you support a Republican. So why would I even try to help donate to those causes anymore to help more people come from there? Why? I don't get it. Tell me if I'm wrong, Aisha, because I really want to know. I felt really like very salty about that. Like, oh my God, I've helped all of these different organizations. Like, yes, it's terrible. Make sure they get this and the ACLU and all that. ACLU, help us first, please. Let's just cut to the chase, because this is what we get. Trump doesn't even like Cubans. Didn't he like sleep with some Cuban woman and make her have an abortion? And
I think this is the thing with black women is that we want to help. I think this is the thing with black women is that we are trying to uplift everybody.
I can't do it anymore.
That we oftentimes forget to do our own uplifting.
Thank you.
And so we're at the point right now where we need to put down the masses.
Yeah, and we have to keep dealing with these imitation of life
and
bitches
do our own,
roll
our
up,
own uplift.
you know. Yeah, they hate their blackness so much that they act and vote in ways that are counterproductive to Latinx people. They do.
Yeah.
They really do. And I can't anymore. I'm really like, I'm over it.
Black women need to stop being mules. Yes, Nicole, we do.
We do.
And we need to do our own uplift from now on.
It's
We
true. Our
really do.
feminism needs to stay very insulated for a minute. We can't do this because everybody shits on us.
Yeah, I'm working on my final project for my Master Fine Arts program, and it's called Feminism is for White Women.
It
And
is.
so, and I'm working on different essays about how Black women need to be listened to, but we also need to listen to ourselves and do our own kind of uplift, and how we need to support each other, because like
Thank
Nicole's
you.
saying, people do
They
not
do
show
not.
up for us.
They do not.
Not the way
You're
we
right.
show up. Not the way we show up for people. Because think about it. What does it take?
Our men
for
don't show up for us. The white feminists don't show up for us, only when it gets them somewhere to say, I support Black Lives Matter and I support Me Too. No, and I kind of started it. They hijack our platforms. Yeah, no.
Exactly. Like
You know, can I get a
Me
New
Too
York
was
Times
never about,
interview?
right.
Yeah.
Me Too wasn't about the Me Too was about the how we ignore the
Then we have to support the
rape and
trans
sexual
people,
assault.
and then we have
Exactly.
to support the everybody. We're always there being the goddamn cheerleader, and we can't even get a fair paycheck.
So let me interrupt here then. So based on what we've seen so far in this election, what should the future relation be with Black women and the Democratic Party?
I don't know. We need to stop that for women shit, though. I got to tell you, we are more than being the little mulattoes. We're more than being the mammy thing for you to go to a Yanla or everybody else or help me or there's four and that or the sexy siren, all of that shit. We're
Sapphire, yeah.
done. We have to stop it. We have to, because here we yet again walk down this road, and I'm sitting here like thinking, looking at Georgia at one point, going, Stacey Abrams is a queen. Why is she not running shit? You know, it's like there is something where we just get dismissed, and we get and the fact that our own people, the men in our community, this is something we have to like have a big discussions on, and it does not include people from the outside. This is an eternal family
Conversation,
reunion, get
yeah.
together. Yeah, we need to come correct on this. This is pretty bad.
And it has to include the men putting their egos aside for a minute and being okay with us running stuff.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Even in the past, when movements were run by men, men were largely the figureheads while women were doing the groundwork. Those were
Yeah.
women going door to door doing things. Like, for example, Rosa Parks' first job with the NAACP was going around getting the stories of Black women being raped
Yes.
across the South by white
Mhm.
men. That was her first
Absolutely.
job before she sat on the bus.
And let's be honest about Ilhan, okay? I don't know what she's doing in Minnesota, but you know, I have supported her, but she has a culture that's very different, and
Yeah.
she did give a certain amount of money to her husband's company. The hands down, that's just an issue. That's a question. I would say, what happened? What is that? Now we can overlook that for today, but the real question is, I'm talking about African American women here. I mean, we have to deal with us. I don't want to take in everybody else's culture and have to keep playing nice. Tired of it. I'm
So,
tired of it.
so Jill, that brings that up an interesting point. Are you then saying, because if I look at I'm here in Toronto, I'm in Canada, I look down on the
Mm-hmm.
United States. Are you saying that the Democratic Party needs a serious restructure and
Absolutely.
rebranding?
And I don't even know if it needs to be called the Democratic Party after that, because I think there needs to be another party. I just, if we're gonna go hog wild with Trump this time, let's just cut it all loose and just mess this bitch up for the next elections. Let's just cut to the chase and divide it all up. Because the reality is we can't step away from the table. We've got to continue to fight. But we have somebody who's actively trying to kill us in our country. Donald Trump has been trying to kill Black women and men, and our idiot Black brethren go and vote for him, and we are here holding the bag again. I'm sorry, there's no excuse for it. Then I don't know if any party can fix us as much as maybe we need to fix ourselves.
And let's not forget that our sisterhood counterparts sold us out 53% last time.
Fuck them.
Okay,
they
sold
should
us
be
out like we were slaves
across the continent too.
Mm-hmm.
Because as they always said, bell hooks always said, when feminism was going down back in the 60s, sure enough, we had like women, our sisters were like going, yeah, this is like, we're together. And the white women flipped us out. And then the Black men kind of pegged themselves under the hierarchy. That's how it went. Black men, then the white women came up under them, like trying to be at the same level. And then we were like wiped out of the whole picture. We were called terrorists, accused of all sorts of crazy madness, come on.
And understand the first feminists were Black women, because Black women always had to work. Black women never
have never stopped
working.
They never stop until the day they die. Black women don't get to retire. Let's just put that out there. We don't get to retire. Right. We typically work until the day we die.
Black women came into this country working.
Yep, drop dead at work.
Black women came into this country working. Black women were born picking cotton, moved to the side, picking cotton.
So for me to see a bunch of like Spanish people who just got here like a couple of years ago and got their naturalization papers, and they go out and vote for Trump, I'm in a sort of way about that. I'm not cool with that, because it was my Democratic group of people that got your ass here, and you bite my hand. Maybe that's the other side of me, the Italian side. I'm a little bit vengeful. Like, you bite my fucking hand, yo. No, thank you. That's why Trump wins. That kind of stuff. Because if I honestly, I have to say that, maybe from living in New York too long, I'm like that. I help you to get here. And, no, I'm not prepared to wait for karma for your ass. I'm not.
Okay. So just some updates here. Electoral is still 89 to 72. 45 has 50.6 of the popular vote. Biden has 48. In the battleground states, Arizona with 69% in. It's close, saying 55% to 43. Biden ahead. Colorado with 75% of the vote in. 57 for Biden, 40.4 for 45. In Florida, 45 is ahead with 95% of the votes in, 51.2 to 47.8. 45 is ahead in Georgia, 55.8 versus 43%. Nothing from Iowa. Minnesota with 29. Well, it's a long way to go. 29% of the vote in, 64.2 for Biden, 33.8. Michigan, again, only 28% of the votes in. 45 is ahead, 55% to 42.7.
In Michigan.
Yes.
And that's because they have all those freaking terrorists there.
Yeah, and they just called North Dakota for Donald Trump.
That's okay. They can have North Dakota. I mean, honestly, imagine what they've done to the natives and the indigenous people there. For me, that's criminal. I wonder how many people they suppressed to vote there. And that's the really truth.
Votes.
Because people in North Dakota, the indigenous people, hate Donald Trump.
Yeah, but at
so they're
Arizona though 70%.
They're saying the projected winner in Colorado is Biden.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I can take trips to Colorado in the future if COVID ever goes away.
But I would. I would say right now, the way it's
I mean,
looking.
guys, I gotta tell you, tonight is rare. You guys, this is what is doing
Oh,
the talking
jeez.
tonight.
Oh, gosh.
This,
Oh,
if you
my.
thought I was a little bit aggressive tonight, yeah,
Okay. So,
I
because
I just knew I can't. I had
so,
enough.
so, so, Aisha, let me ask, how
Yeah.
many or what it looks right now from what I'm looking at on my monitor here?
Hmm.
Um, Colorado has gone to Joe Biden.
Yep.
It looks like, but it looks like like if we go by what the trend is setting right now, Florida's going to go for 45.
Hmm.
Arizona is tight, but
No, actually, Arizona is
yeah, Arizona,
Biden.
yeah, yeah,
Biden's up by almost 12.
right. So it really gets down to again middle America again.
If Biden takes Minnesota, Michigan, and Wisconsin, it's over for Trump.
Yeah, I would say if he can take 2 out of those 3,
Hmm.
I think he's doing okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, but there's a long, but that's
Biden's definitely going to get the 55 out of California. That's the biggest amount.
right. Like I know Jill is upset. She may still have hope.
Well,
California is solidly blue.
I tend to be a person who can be the darkest in the room.
No.
So if anything goes opposite, then I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy for everybody to make fun of me. I'm happy to be, the donkey. But at this point, I don't put anything past Americans because they're not trustworthy. I was
Well, I've got
hoping
some
that they
good
were.
news.
What?
Mark Kelly in the special Senate race in Arizona is 10 points ahead of McSally with 72% in.
Good. She's an old cow.
Jill.
Oh God.
Oh
But
my.
here's the thing. There are 2 special Senate races. So the Georgia one and the actually I think there's 3. Georgia and Arizona, and I think there's a third one. But those people get seated immediately. So that will switch the composition of the Senate immediately.
Interesting. It does immediately because I know that January 4th, I think they're back in office, right?
No, Mitch McConnell's calling them back in on the 9th because remember they're doing the ACA thing.
Yes.
Oh,
And
right.
yes.
And his and
Affordable
don't
day.
forget that's true. And his hands are falling off, so that's
Right.
right. Yeah. He's trying to figure out
Jill.
how to write with his feet for the next term.
Jill.
I'm still laughing at that meme that somebody posted where his hands look like a mummy. They said,
They did. I know SNL did a funny thing on it. I was
Oh,
just like, it's terrible.
it was hysterical. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's like for real. He's just going to start falling apart. Maybe that's what I don't know. 2021 might have a lot in store for us too. We don't know.
I know Mitch McConnell, though, those hands are a symbol of something else other than just what he's talking about.
I know. I know. For real. I wouldn't know. They really, really are. They're
They
like
really,
swollen. They look sore. They
but
look,
they're
and they were black. I
color,
mean, it was like I thought he had
the
fur on him.
discoloration.
Yeah.
It looked like he's had like some kind of kidney deformity or like necrosis. That's what it looked like.
Necrosis. That's what I said. But that's a very powerful word. But like I said, I think he's trying to work that out. He'll have some 2
Mhm.
Dr. Evil hands on, or like James Bond had that character who had the metal things. He'll be fine. He'll just be wearing gloves. Okay.
And he can still do his evil, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I
And
just I the one thing I can say about this election that we will learn about our country is how ugly racism is in our country. Because here's the truth. Here's the bottom line. If COVID doesn't get you to move, if babies in cages doesn't get you to move,
Oh, I know.
if the 1 million things that Trump has done doesn't get you to move, it's the racism.
It's true. And I just want to know who you are, so I know
Okay,
that I
so
don't
it's
engage.
showing that 45 is ahead in Ohio.
Wow. Well, then, typical. I was not surprised.
So
KKK land.
72% of the vote is in. 45 is at 51.2%. Biden is at 47.4.
And New Mexico is just called for Biden.
Okay.
But Michigan, again, Michigan's a long way to go. Yeah, there's a long way to go in the battleground states. Yeah, there's a long way to go because it looks like if things pan out there, it looks like the battleground states are going to split.
Really?
It looks like
I'm gonna go change my shirt, guys. Is that okay?
No problem.
Because it's really hot all of a sudden.
I just America refuses to face its racist history. Yeah, that's basically it. And not only that, it's racist history. America refuses to face its racist present.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
Because
point.
people keep saying he says he says things that I like to hear. He says the right things. He says racist things. Basically, I don't care what people say at this point. It's like, oh, people don't want to say, oh, not all Trump's supporters are racist. Yes, all Trump supporters at this point are racist. That's who he has left.
Okay, so I think because Jill left her laptop, we're getting echoing
of the feedback
from her feedback. So just got to be careful when we're not speaking. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to
mute it.
Okay, we should be okay right now. I've muted her.
Okay.
So we're good. Yeah. So it's the long night that it's expected to be is happening.
Yeah, it is.
But Aisha, because it's this long of a night, what does that tell you about the country you live in?
It tells me that we've got to do something about our voting system. It's like, I mean, the Electoral College, I think we need to get rid of the Electoral College. It's like, because, well, here's the thing. What most people, even Trump doesn't seem to understand it. Every state has their own laws for how elections are run. Okay? So there are 50 laws plus the territories that have, procedures for how elections are run. And so there's no federal law for elections. And because we have that, I don't think that we should have an electoral college. The electoral college then makes it such that, the votes are not necessarily given to the people. So you can have someone win the popular vote and not win the electoral college.
Well, that may happen tonight. Well, as I said, right now, again, just right now,
right,
45 has the popular vote by 2 million plus votes, by about I think it's about 2.8%, almost 3%. right?
Yeah.
So welcome back, Jill. Jill's not with us.
Hey,
And we've got a fan here saying, love your shirt, Jill. There we go.
yes, I love these girls. Oh, I love these girls who
What does it say?
from the Prince Paradigm, and then on the back they put like that. That was so nice of them.
Oh.
Very
It was
nice.
so cool. Yeah. So
Very nice.
I don't know.
We got to get rid of this electoral college because I'm kind of
We
sick of
do,
it.
and that was something that Biden wants to do. So I don't know. People, it's crazy.
Well, let's put it this way. If 45 wins, it's very interesting because he won.
I know what you're saying. It's interesting.
You know, it's a very interesting, like it would be hilarious if he had more popular vote but did not get the electoral college. But right now,
Yeah.
it's looking like he may be close, because like I said, if you look at what's on the map right now, I see more states where he's either leading, that he's leading in, than what Biden's leading in.
Yep.
Right. And especially the Michigan.
Yeah.
I've got to go get myself a Coca-Cola. I'll be right back.
No problem. The Michigan, Ohio. You know, that's. And Junior is saying it's not the candidates, it's the people having little to no knowledge.
I got bad news, guys. Bad news.
It doesn't matter to me. I'm not living there.
Doug Jones lost his seat.
That was to be expected, though.
Oh.
That was not too much of a surprise. No, Aisha, you can't say you're really surprised about that.
Black women worked so hard to get him elected.
You know, yeah, he lost to the former Alabama football coach Tommy Tuberville. He has no political experience.
Except that he's a Trumper.
That's it. That's it. Oh gosh, I see Jill putting ice.
Ice cubes,
I wonder what's gonna. Is that Coke gonna be by itself?
I doubt it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm beginning to think that, and I said this before, people didn't ask me, but I thought that 45 would win again. And even more interesting now, the House is showing 118 Republicans, 84 Democrats.
Wow, it's going to be a real fascist country.
Well, I just took a look at that. I'm saying,
the House too. We're losing the House. Wow.
Could you imagine? Wow. Would that be something? 45 wins, Senate stays the same, and the House goes to the Republicans?
If the House goes to the Republicans, you will never have another election in America again. Never.
Wow.
You will be in power forever.
Wow. Okay, so I'm seeing here North Carolina is very close.
Boy, oh my gosh. Trump was Louisiana called for Trump just now.
Oh yeah.
Kansas called for Trump.
Okay, so we have here someone's comments. Whatever happens tonight in the days and months to come, 45 has exposed the divisiveness of America. He has given the racists an ally, dare I say, champion in the highest office in the land. The USA has lost its standing as a beacon of hope to the world.
They have.
Yeah.
I think the key number tonight is 401,000.
I know. And We have Germany. My family does.
Yep.
So, but I'm really worried about the people that have nowhere to go.
My sister's talking about Ghana.
Ghana, he offered it
Yes.
last year. I don't know if the president will offer it again. I beg that he does, because I think that people should really, if the House goes Republican, if the Senate goes Republican,
Got to get the hell up
if
out of
Trump
here.
wins, you've got to leave. You really have to leave. Rich people will always be able to leave, right? But you're going to have to rely on strangers helping you and people with good
So
heart.
North Carolina seems to be very close, 49.8 to 49% estimated count right now. 89% is in. So I'm sure you're going to see a recount there. But everywhere else, 45's ahead.
Yeah.
Yep, he's ahead everywhere else. Yep, 45 is ahead. Yep. Oh, I totally. Yeah, 45 is ahead.
Yeah.
It's just he's ahead in electorals now.
No.
Okay. It's just depressing.
No. But right now the Senate is 40 to 38.
40 to 38 Republicans.
No, Democrats.
Oh.
But the House is where it's really interesting. 121 Republicans, 86 Democrats.
Right. Well, that like I said, I wonder who lost.
Well, Doug Jones lost in the Senate from Alabama.
Wow. That was bad.
That was not from my listening and hearing. That was not a big surprise.
Really?
No, not a big surprise. Like if anyone of the Democratic Party was sort of on a tightrope, I was told it was him.
Oh my God! Please no. Wisconsin early to call, but at 34%, Trump is at 50, Biden at 48%. Please don't make my stomach hurt.
Well, obviously, so right now, what if just as an early prognostication, where did pardon me if anywhere the Democratic Party slip? Or did they?
The DNC by not allowing, by what happened in North Carolina, basically, trusting all the black voters and all of that kind of stuff, and not letting Bernie just kind of fulfill his thing, because that was the impetus with the young people. And I think that the DNC needs to stay out of it and pay attention to what their voters are signaling that they want. They wanted more progressives. They wanted a more progressive outlook. And take the chance. They were taking a risk anyway.
Or is it that the Republican Party is more loyal to itself and doesn't allow?
They're more racist, and they think with their pocketbooks.
So compared to the Democratic Party that has all different kinds of interests in trying to mold them, trying to have them under one umbrella, is that something that's a disadvantage? Whereas basically, the Republican platform is very simple.
Yeah, they should just subscribe to a certain type of person. We lend our hands too much to immigrants and to the poor and whatever the Statue of Liberty stands for, and they slap us in the face. And they don't stand by it, or they forget they were immigrants, or they forget, everybody thinks they still have a chance in America to be a billionaire.
But Jill, I have to say though, the majority of the population in America, well, I don't know. I was going to say the majority of the voting population is white, but I'm not sure.
They are.
Okay, so at the end of the day, it's white people that are making this happen.
Absolutely. They don't care about anybody
Yeah.
else. But then when you have the few like little brown spots and specks and, in Eminem's case, it's like they all want to be in on it. They want to be in the club and they think they're in the club. But you know what? At this point, sometimes jujitsu is the best way to play it. The hand of least resistance. Give it to them. Let them be put in the gas chambers. Let them all be taken there. Let them go. Maybe they'll finally get it. But, because when you have someone as crazy as Trump is, what other kind of power would he want? Like, let's just think about what does he want now? He's going to want the world.
We've
So
also got a perfect storm too, because you've got to remember we've got so many gerrymandered districts that they had split up all the former Democratic districts so that they've got to take these like tiny slices of um that Republican districts that have enough Republicans in it to vote and sway it in one direction. So that are like these are people who will actually go out and vote. So you might have a area that's highly minority, but they won't necessarily show up to the polls. And so they've gerrymandered these districts so much that they are reliably going to win in all of these elections, and they've done it by design. And until we can get the power to redraw the districts, which only happen every 10 years, we're going to be stuck like this. And think
Forever
about
slaves. I mean,
right,
essentially,
and think
black
about
people,
this.
brown people are slaves. They give
Yeah,
a couple little bones, and then they
yeah.
put them on TV and they let them be famous, but they're slaves.
But we need
You're a
to think
slave.
about
You're a
this.
slave.
Think about this. We will have, if Donald Trump wins, we will have an impeached president
Yep.
in a second term.
Hmm.
Okay, he has nothing. Impeached president in a second term. Okay, so he has nothing to run for again. He won't care. He won't care about anything. He will run ripshod around everything. He will try and get away with everything that he possibly can. He will be more arrogant than he was in these first 4 years. Because what? Impeach? Go ahead and impeach me. I've already been impeached. Okay. What? What? I'm not running again. Bring out whatever you're going to bring out.
What?
He'll
Maybe he
catch
may want
up.
to run. May he want to extend his running because
Of
again, if
course he will.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying.
He can change his terms now. He can do what the Chinese leader did and make it where he can stay in power forever. He could do that. He's got the Supreme Court. He could potentially have the House,
That's what he
and
wants.
he's got the Senate. So what more? It is the perfect storm, as Aisha said.
And Americans have allowed it.
They
Yeah.
sure did.
Yeah. And even more than just Americans, Republicans of Republicans in their right mind have allowed it, all because they were afraid that he would say something horrible on Twitter. Think about that.
There's nothing he could say because he is the mirror of America. He is
Yeah.
the mirror of classlessness, of disgusting behavior, of ugliness. That's America. And the best we can hope for is that global nations boycott this country like they did with apartheid.
Hmm.
Mm. Powerful statement.
Our standing in the world is already shit. Wait, if he wins, think about what it's going to be. Think about what it's going to be. There's going to be tears all over MSNBC if he loses. I mean, if he wins tonight.
Oh yeah.
I promise you. You will not be able to pick Rachel Maddow off the floor.
And you know what? I don't even know if I'll be able to look at any of them or watch any of their bullshit anymore either, because the media played a lot into it as well. The monopoly of Rupert Murdoch. You need to get rid of that old fucking dust bowl. You know, it's like that old taxidermied man that they prop up every day, and that whole fucking family. We have a really bad problem. It's called corporations. It's called capitalism. I hope everybody has fun shopping for Christmas, and I hope everybody has a miserable fucking Christmas this year. And Thanksgiving.
It is that bad. I mean,
so got a lot of people watching live right now. Please put in your comments. You know, what do you got to say? Or are you afraid to put in your comments because they may be monitored? Who knows? But
no.
Exactly.
It's really kind of it just feels like such a letdown. It's like, America, you had one job to do. Just one.
well,
Just one.
I don't know. I don't know.
Look, all you can do is sit back and be like, I'm in Canada. I don't know.
Well, you know, from where I'm sitting, I thought that 45 was going to win. And when people said, "Why do you say that?" and I said one word, America.
Well, you know, that this is what this reminds me of, kind of like when people were saying that would George W. Bush win a second term after 9/11 and the first term and he goes into with the whole thing with weapons of mass destruction and all of that, and people were like, oh, do you think that George Bush will win a second term? And you had quite a few people, particularly Black people, saying, oh no, he won't win a second term. And then you had a few people saying, yeah, he'll win a second term. It's like, he can't possibly be like the worst president in the world in history right now, besides Nixon.
Someone here saying Jill knows me, Misty, but she still kind of intimidates me.
I do. Sorry.
That might be like where we're at, like where people were like, well, will W win a second term? And people couldn't believe that he would win a second term, but he did. This might be like that same kind of thing, because Trump, COVID alone is enough.
So someone's got something loud playing in the background.
COVID alone is enough for Trump to not win a second term. It's enough for him to not win a second term, but it's likely that he might.
He will. Now, Jill, Misty has a term of endearment for you. You're a bad.
True. I think I am. Not in a good way tonight, though.
Oh, well, see, now it's tightened up now. 98 electoral for Biden, 95 for 45.
Right.
And now the Senate is 40-40, tied.
Okay.
Wow.
I think you're going to start seeing that move more toward the Republican.
Yep, because of the battleground states. Biden got close, but he couldn't take it over.
Hickenlooper won in Colorado.
I don't even know if there was anybody who could take it over. I think that people are mesmerized by Trumpism. I mean, you've got to give the Republicans against Trump were really, really fighting so hard. But unfortunately, white supremacy is what this foundation of this country is. And it kind of is still the course of it. It's going to be very interesting when you go to a club and your black friend that you're everybody, it didn't bother. We're all friends when your black friend has to go in the back door and you don't because you're white. It's going to be really interesting to see how those dynamics work going forward, how comfortable your white friends are going to be with your oppression. That's the interesting thing about this vote for me, was how comfortable are your white friends with your oppression? But it was okay because rappers came out and said it was okay, so they got a pass.
Yep.
So, but it's every man for himself now. Like I said,
Put it
it's
this
every
way.
man for himself.
But isn't
they
America
put it up-
always been that way?
Yeah, but put it
Yeah,
this way. They
I
put enough
suppose so.
justices in the courts who don't believe that Brown is settled law.
Exactly, but there's 198 new judges that don't really care about it. There's judges in New York at this
And more
moment,
to come.
and more to come.
And
So
one
as
on
far as
the
I'm
Supreme
concerned-
Court.
So as far as I'm concerned, Black people really ask for it. They ask for the ass beating that's about to come. And don't think that Jay-Z is going to be able to help you, or Beyonce's cover on Vogue.
Mm-hmm. And
Well,
Missouri
see, all
was
these
just
people,
called
like,
for Trump.
let me tell you something. In the middle of this all, everybody's mesmerized by Beyonce's Vogue cover. This is where my people's heads are. Do you understand how fucking banal and empty that is? So maybe we are the descendants of Ham. Maybe we did fuck Noah in the ass and we're getting totally fucking blamed for it forever. Maybe we're cursed. I'm really at that point. I don't fucking know anymore. I don't really get it, because right now I'm really fucking angry. And there's some things I don't know. I got to think about my allegiances. I don't typically have a problem walking down the street, but many of my friends do and my family members do. I can pass strange. Not many people can. And let me tell you, it's not fun. You should hear the shit they say about Black people when they think you're white.
Mm. Mm. Enough said. Oh, enough said. Big time. Enough said.
It's sad now because we're coming upon the 11 o'clock hour Eastern time. So that means that the polls are going to close in California.
Yeah. And, I don't know anymore what's going to happen with California. We have our rednecks out here as the Wild West, What can I say?
Yeah.
Wow. 45 has over 50% of the vote. Wow.
It's a wake up. It's another wake up call about this country. And, and I don't even think it's stealing. I think it's just who America is.
Well, if 45 wins tonight, if I'm Dr. Fauci, I'd resign as soon as possible.
Yeah, and if I were in a gay marriage, I would be very, very fucking scared.
Yeah.
And if I had children and I were in a gay marriage, I would be terrified.
Yep.
Or if I were trying to adopt kids and I were gay, I would be very terrified about what's about to come. And what's really bad is that everybody should look at their friends who know their friends' lives. And if they don't support their friends' lives, you actually, in your circle, the odds of you having somebody who voted against your needs or your interests are great when it's 50%, like Dr. Vibe just said. That's great. That means family members voted against your ass.
Yeah.
Knowing your predicament, knowing you don't have money for health care, they don't care.
Yeah. And know this, if you are
that's some cold shit. I'm sorry. That's some cold shit.
Joe Biden won Illinois.
Wow.
Yep.
But anyway, gang, I'm gonna have to go because before I drink too much J and B here, and I want to be telling you all my life story.
Well, Jill, thank you for, as always, for taking the time. I
I
don't
love
forget.
you both so much. I'm so appreciative and so grateful to have both of you in my life.
Right
But
back at
thank
you.
you for going with me through this because I'm really not handling it very well. And it's incredibly disappointing because I really did try to believe that people were better
Okay.
and they're really not.
All right.
So,
Sign off if you need to.
Yeah,
okay.
Problem.
no problem.
We'll talk.
Well, I'm still here.
I know you are. And it's late for us, but not for her.
I know.
But I as I
But
saw the night
I
coming
get
in,
what I get what she feels because I think that's what a lot of people are feeling right now. You know what I mean? And like Prince 3 Ed Misty just said, women who have had miscarriages are in trouble. In a lot of states they are because um they're going to be women are going to be in trouble. Black people are going to be in trouble. Brown people are going to be in trouble. The natives are going to be in trouble because they're going to want to. They're going to try and do something with those lands and those reservations. They're going to try and get out of those deals. They're going to. They're. It's like everybody who are not Trump supporters are going to be in trouble. And you know, think about it this way: 93% in. Biden was ahead in North Carolina. Now, 0.1% is what Trump is ahead by. 0.1%.
so Robert Downey is saying here the demographics of America have been and will continue to change. 45 in the Republican Party that he is co-opted by hostile takeover represent white America's last stand. 45 is the latest and greatest rendition of, quote, the great white hope. Meanwhile, unquote, meanwhile, Black America is becoming more and more disheartened with each passing election by the Democratic Party.
Well, one of the things too, I don't think it's even just we're becoming disheartened by the Democratic Party because one of the things too that's happening with um, Black America is that our numbers are also getting smaller.
Yep.
That's we're no longer the largest minority group
Yep.
in this country.
Well, the thing is,
So
too,
our
like,
voices
and
aren't going to be heard.
I bring it up. That's why I purposely, a few conversations ago, talked about the Latino vote.
Yeah.
Right? The Latino vote. And the funny thing is, a lot of the media, most of the media didn't even touch it.
Mm-hmm.
But numerically, they are the second biggest, they're the biggest minority bloc voting in all of America. How can you not pay attention to them? Like,
right.
So, and they help push 45 over in Florida.
They help push 45 over. And right now, and this is why it's very disheartening that Black men don't get behind Black women. Because right now in the Democratic Party, as far as minority groups go, Black women have power.
Yep.
They have power that the Democratic Party actually listens to. Okay? Because they know that we can get people out in our community to vote. For example, it was like Jim Clyburn didn't come out for Joe Biden until that 94-year-old Black woman said to him, America needs to hear what you have to say. Okay? It was a Black woman who told him to go out there and speak. It was Black women who got Doug Jones the seat in the first that he lost tonight, but got him the seat in the first place. It was so that's where we are, and while we have that power, we need to mobilize it, make it bigger. But our numbers as people, as a population, are getting smaller.
Yep.
That's because we're doing a little bit better. We're having children a little bit later, and we're having fewer babies. So that and not only that, but also too when you have when and also too when you're not doing as well. Okay, we're doing better than we were in the 70s, but we're still not doing what we should be doing. So when you are struggling, people tend to not have children, as many children as they used to. So our numbers are going down. And so you have the Hispanic population being the biggest minority population.
Yep. So just taking a look at updated on the monitor here, they're saying in regards to electoral votes, 118 for Joe Biden, 105 for 45. 45 leading in Virginia with 56% of the votes counted. Percent of the votes counted, but he's had 52%. No need to look. Well, who knows with tonight? No problem. But let's see. We've got in Michigan, 45 is ahead with 36% of the votes counted, 54% to 43%. Biden is ahead in Arizona, 53%, basically 54%. It was 75% of the votes. In Georgia, I don't even think I didn't think Mr. Biden would get anywhere in Georgia. Doubt that. Go ahead.
The thing is that in about 10 minutes, they're going to call California for Biden. So that'll be a big jump. They'll probably also call Nevada for Biden as well. And so that'll be it. There's going to be that string of states on the West Coast that'll go for Biden, which will help him, and we'll start to see a little bit of movement that way. We kind of expected that throng of red in like the middle-ish part. So
but it's still again, it comes down to the battleground states in the middle.
It's going to come to those. It's good. That middle north. That middle north.
Yep, that's what it's really going to come down to. And right now, 45 is ahead there.
Yeah, and it's sad. It's sad to see. I was hoping he'd be a one-termer like George Bush.
No, it's like I said, I think right now what the biggest concern for the Democrats is they can't lose if they want anything left, they can't afford to lose the House.
No.
Like wouldn't this really be something that the Republicans have the presidency, the Senate, and the House?
That's it. America's over. Just right.
Well, America, as it's known right now, is definitely over for sure.
Yeah, just write America's epitaph. Because that would be horrible. And then people, well, here's the part that gets me, is that Trump will win again, and people will say how and why.
Yeah.
And this is one thing I'll tell you, and I wonder if the media spent as much time interviewing and trying to figure out Democratic voters, Biden-Harris voters, as they did Trump supporters. If that would have made a difference. If that would make a difference.
I just think, as I mentioned a few moments ago to both you, the Republican Party, there's not a lot of diverse. They have their core values and they stick to it. Whereas the Democratic Party have interests all over the place. I don't, I hear how yourself and Jill mentioned about Black men. I think that does put apart. I think more importantly, the Latin vote and whites, because those are the most numbers, right?
Yeah, but that 11% of black men that they were able to pull away, that 11%, that was that was close to 1 million votes.
Yeah. So if that's the case, I'm not. I say definitely the question's going to be, what is the state of Black America after tonight?
But you know what? It needs to be Black women asking that question, because when Black men have those conversations and ask those questions, they don't ask the hard questions of themselves. They don't really sit in it's never self-effacing. It's always they're very easy on themselves, and excuse the hard questions, because one of the things that they're going to have to address is the homophobia, because that really is a big thing for a lot of Black men, and why um the machismo of a Trump campaign is what gets to them. Yet they'll cheer Trump on while he dances to YMCA by the Village People, which back in the day was a song, a gay man's anthem. Yet Trump doesn't seem to know that.
Well, I think that as I look at what's going on this evening, America really
So tell me this: why did you think that? Because you asked me and Jill all these weeks, who did we think was going to win? Why did you think that Trump was going to win?
I just don't think Americans are ready. They want to go back to the past. I think a lot of Americans, they love the hype, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that I think there's too much still embedded in a lot of American psyche. They want to hear someone say that we can be great, the greatest again. We can be a greatest again, and they're not looking at the world of reality. That like, at it, I didn't have. If they voted him in the first time, why couldn't they do it another time? Right, right. Yeah. Why couldn't they do it another time?
Yeah. Well, think about it. He's just the projected winner of Mississippi. So, of course, that tells you people want to go back to the nostalgia.
Of course. Right?
Right.
So this is how I break it down. The people that want the nostalgia are in the majority.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, here's another sad thing. Lindsey Graham won his Senate seat in South Carolina.
Yeah. So the people, and I'm not saying the people, they're the most dedicated to voting, and they are most steadfast. They are not going to change their thought process or change their vote. They're less likely to change their vote than a Democrat, I think.
Yeah. Warnock advances to the runoff, and so does Loeffler.
Right. So I think that I watch America, and I just say, they did it once by changing to a president that was not of the norm of Barack Obama, and then they go right to the other end, and then they say, people like to be sold a bill of goods.
But you know what though, and this is one thing I think it is amazing to me how ugly this is, that the election of the first Black president in this country got people so in their anger and so in their racism that they had to go to the total,
of course,
opposite extreme.
That's not a surprise. That's not a surprise. It's not a surprise. People say, we're going to make sure we really take it back.
Yeah.
We really take it back. And we want to go to someone who has said, let's make it great again. And again, and Jill made some good points tonight, that America's soul has to be looked at, and most people in America only look for themselves. And then if they're going to look at someone else, they're going to only look at someone else who looks like them.
Right.
They're not looking for the grade of the whole country. They want to make sure I'm good. Anyone who looks like me is good. Don't think about the people who don't look like me. No, they don't count. They've got to be lower than me.
Right. And in about 2 seconds, we've got California, Washington, Idaho, and Oregon closing.
You know what? Not really, in where I'm sitting right now, not really big in the cards because it's the middle states.
Yeah.
Right. So now it is 118 to 108.
Right. Oregon called for Joe Biden. Washington called for Joe Biden. Idaho, too early to call.
Did Susan Collins win?
Did she? Biden's at 192, Trump at 114.
Okay, that's projected, but I'd like to know if Susan Collins won. That would be very interesting.
That would be, because she shouldn't be winning. When she said there was no systemic racism in the country, I'm
really
in her state.
I'm very curious to know if she won.
In her state, black people oh my God, Trump is ahead so far in Michigan.
Yep.
But only 39% have reported. So that means that they haven't gotten to Detroit yet. And he's ahead in Wisconsin, but Biden is ahead in Minnesota and Iowa.
I'm really wondering about Susan Collins.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting race to watch.
Okay, so California, the West Coast is gone all blue.
Yep. So it looks like the rest of these are going to take the rest of the night.
Well, I think that's going to take the rest, and also too, what's going on in the Senate, because right now the Senate is 42-41 Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah, and a lot of these are at just 40% in. I mean, Pennsylvania closed a long time ago, and they're just at 40% in. Those 7 counties aren't going to be counting until tomorrow.
Wow, I do see now. Yeah, Biden is at 192. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
But then it really comes down to the battleground states.
Yeah.
I think for Biden, if he can, and I don't know if he's going to do it, but if he can flip 1 or 2 of them, but I'm not being realistic. I think that 45 will win. Because all the battleground places I'm seeing, he is ahead.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, there are a lot of ballots still to come in. But Pennsylvania, he's way ahead. That's not a good sign for Mr. Biden that he's not going to win his home state.
Dr. Biden, he did win his home state.
Oh, he did? Oh, Delaware, right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Delaware.
My correction.
Right. He didn't win the state. He's at low in the state that he was born in, but he won Delaware. But Trump didn't win his home state, which is New York. But Florida, which is where he lives.
His home state now is Florida, not New York.
Yeah, his state of residence. Yeah.
Right. So, but I'm seeing here more Latino voters support Trump in 2020 than 2016, but more young Americans favor Biden.
This is something else.
Yeah, it's going to be a race to the finish. But again, middle America, right? Well, and again, it's going to be interesting in the breakdown to see what percentage of white women voted for 45.
53%.
If it's that amount again, wow. That again, I live outside America. America is very predictable for me. It's very predictable. You know, it's very, very predictable. This does not surprise me. You know, this does not surprise me. It should not surprise anybody. Right? I think the best hope that the Democrats can have right now is possibly a Biden win, but it maybe getting control of either the Senate and the House. And right now, the House ain't looking pretty for Democrats.
What are the House numbers?
135 Republicans, 97 Democrats.
I thought it was 197.
No, Democrats is 97, Republicans 135.
Well, there's 435 members.
True. So there's a lot to go.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's going to be a long night.
So it looks like we're going to have to continue this, Dr.
Yeah, I think that we may need to go on. I don't know if I have anything tomorrow evening or not. Let me just see. I doubt it. Let me just check on the schedule. I may have left tomorrow open. Yes, I believe it is. Let me just check. Yes, it is open. Tomorrow's open. So I think we're not going to be on all night, folks. Sorry to disappoint you. So I'm going to reach out to Aisha and Jill tomorrow to see if they want to do a part 2. I have a feeling they will.
Yeah.
And for everyone who jumped on here tonight, like to say thank you for taking time out of your positive, productive schedule. Black Beauty, Junior VI, Prince 3EB, thank you so much. Nicole, thank you so much. Dr. Tachi, as always. Black Beauty. Yeah, we got Nicole. I think we've got shouted out to everybody here. Yeah, I think Robert Downey. Interesting name. Shout out. So yeah, I think right now it looks like it's gonna be a little while till everything else counted. So Aisha,
yeah.
Here's a question for you, and I should have asked Jill this. What is your thought when you wake up tomorrow morning? What do you think we are going to see?
I think you're going to see something that's too close. It's going to be real close.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
But
you
might see a Trump win, but a close one.
Okay, so I don't make many predictions, but I think that when we get up tomorrow, we are going to see a Trump victory, probably slight. I think the Senate right now is too close to call, but I would say the Republicans. What do you think is going to happen in the Senate?
The House?
Oh, well, Senate and House.
I think the Dems will take the Senate, and I think they'll keep the House.
So what you're saying?
Because that'll be a lot of. That will be. They would have to lose more than they'd have to lose more than 40 seats in the House.
Okay, so do you feel that the Democrats will at least keep one of the houses?
Yeah, one chamber. Yeah,
one chamber.
Yeah.
Okay.
And likely that'll be the House.
Okay, so really, it's not going to be anything different.
Probably not. Probably not. But I will be probably not. But I probably will leave my TV on all night.
I didn't think you turned it off.
Because my anxiety works like that.
Okay.
I might fall in and out of sleep, but I will be checking for updates. You know, every half hour I'll go to sleep for a half hour, wake up and check and make sure that my biggest nightmare didn't come true.
Oh boy. So if people want to touch base with you, how can they do that?
You can find me on Twitter at Aisha Staggers, capital AISHA, capital STAGGERS. I will not be on Twitter tonight because I'm going to just go retire to my bed and watch the massacre.
Okay. And why are you calling it a massacre just before we leave?
It's because if Trump wins, it's a massacre to our democracy. I mean, just everything that we're supposed to stand for, he so far has destroyed. And if he is reelected, he'll take the rest of it with him.
So already he's been there for 4 years. If he wins again, how big of an impact for generations to come will it have?
We might as well just throw the Constitution out.
Okay.
He uses it as toilet paper anyway.
Okay. So for those who are jumping in late, or Jill Jones left because it was a lot emotionally for her, and but I'm going to put her contact information up. You can catch her on Twitter at Jill D Jones. I don't know if she's going to go on Twitter tonight. If she is, oh, it's going to be fire. It's going to be, and if you didn't catch this live, certainly catch on the replay. Jill was on fire as she always is tonight, and she didn't leave any stone unturned.
Yeah.
She was in full slay mode tonight. So myself, I am Dr. Vibe. I am host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations. I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. And also once a month, I host conversations for fathers and dads that are co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization, and Dove Men Care. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for watching this live. This has been a historic night in many ways, and we don't have the final answer yet. And many people said we were not going to have the final answer yet. And who knows if we'll have it tomorrow morning or wherever you are in the next 12 hours. And the funny thing is, will this be over in 24 hours? This may not be over. So I'd like to say, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. And I'd like to say thank you again, and especially during a night like this for some people, and we should, especially during this year and going forward, remember to give yourself grace. God bless, peace be well, keep the faith, and thanks again for the support. And we will, whatever your affiliation is, we will move forward. Good night, everybody.